Welcome back. In the previous session, we looked at how to write the background to the study. But in this session, we are going to look at how to write the problem statement. Now, to write the problem statement, this is how we do it. We are going to start the problem statement by writing what we already know about the problem. Okay, what we already know, okay, like existing knowledge, what we know already about the problem. We are basically going to summarize what existing research or real world data shows. That's what you are going to start with. So I can say something like, just an example, I can say something like, mobile money adoption rate is high among small scale businesses in Ghana. I can also add maybe some data to back it. I can say something like, reports by the Ghana Statistical Service 2024 shows that this, and that. But make sure what you are talking about is about that problem. So mine will be about mobile money services among small scale businesses. So you can use the data evidence to back your first statement. It shouldn't be cooked. It should be real. Okay. Then I can continue by saying that, please, just in an attempt to state what we already know about the problem, like what we know in the real world and from existing research. Okay. So I can add something to what I said earlier by saying, small scale businesses in Oforikrom rely more on mobile money for daily transactions. Food sellers, provision stores, barbering salon, hairdressing salons, stationery shops, and the likes have made it a necessity to accept mobile money payments due to high population of students in the area who usually prefer to make payments via mobile money. So I'm stating what we already know. So as I was saying that you should start with what we already know about the problem in real world and in existing literature. So let me add what we know from existing literature. So I can add something like this to it. Studies like those of Dajepo and Ajima 2022 on mobile money services in Africa demonstrate how mobile money can enhance financial inclusion. So I end up stating what we know from real world and what we know from existing literature. Okay, so I can end this component by saying what we know from existing literature, right? Then I continue. So my continuation can now talk about the gap and contribution. It can be another paragraph, maybe the next line. Okay, but it should be grammatically correct. That's what matters. So for the gap and contribution, you keep it in mind that this is what you do. You are basically going to tell us what we don't know about the problem, the gap. You get it? You are going to identify a specific gap that your study will address. I can continue by saying something like, we lack detailed understanding on how mobile money services specifically affect the revenue patterns of small-scale businesses in Oforikrom, which is dominated by students who usually prefer to make payments via mobile money. Full stop. Then you continue by writing your contribution, how you are going to contribute to existing knowledge. It can either be theoretical, practical, or even methodological. Then when you are done with that part, then you tell us why we need to know what we don't know. You are going to tell us the importance or the consequences of not addressing the problem. If the problem is not addressed, what will be the consequences? Or what are the importance? So that you talk about that briefly also. So me, I can say something like, if mobile money challenges like high transaction fees, fraud activities, network problems are not addressed, that could limit the growth of small-scale businesses in the area. So you have to tell us the importance or the consequences of not addressing that problem that you've identified. You get it? Then you also tell us how the study intends to address the problem. That is, you briefly state how your study will tackle the problem. So for me, I can say something like, this study aims to use a case study approach specifically focused on Oforikrom Municipal Assembly. So you see, I'm briefly telling you the approach I'll be using. That is, I'm briefly stating how my study will tackle the problem. Then you can also talk about who it will be useful to and where it will be useful. So you can write that to finalize this section also. So for this section, you can write 2 pages. So that's how to write a problem statement. So let's look at how to write the research objectives and research questions. The link to that is on the screen. Check the description area below. Thank you and see you in the next session.